It's time for Cookies and Crime listener stories. This is the ghost at the top of the stairs, sent in by Anonymous. Anonymous says, growing up, I didn't have a happy childhood. I won't go into details, but I was beaten a lot by my father and two of my sisters. When I was 6, we moved homes after some issues with neighbors, and in our new home, there was an energy from day one. My mom always had a sense for the paranormal. She did a lot of tarot readings and was scarily accurate, and always sensed spirits, but decided to not explore this after predicting a good friend's divorce and their husband's infidelity. I also had this sense myself, and going into this house, I could feel something was there. I was the middle child of 5, and I was often picked on by my siblings as I am completely different from them all. I inherited a lot of my mom's Indian genetics, while my siblings have our dad's English genetics. Very early on in our home, something sensed that I was being picked on, and it seemed to help me. My older sister, who bullied me more, would often seem to feel like something was trying to push her down the stairs, and she fell down them a few times growing up, and always insisted she was pushed, even though no one was around. My siblings never felt safe at the top of the stairs, but I always did. If I was sad or sick, I would sleep there because I felt so safe. It felt like I had a big brother there watching over me all the time, and I started to greet it daily. This is where it gets really weird. One night, I had a really strange dream about my house. There was a young man of maybe 20 years old, and he was taken out of the house, tied to a tree at the back of the property, and murdered by his brothers. At least that's what he called them. I never told anyone about this dream as I was very young and knew they wouldn't believe me, but I just knew it was the ghost at the top of my stairs. I moved out of that house when I was 23 and kept minimal contact with my parents, but grew closer to my little brother who still lived there. About 2 years ago, we were catching up and he told me that my mom had decided to start using her talents properly again. Her, my father, and my brother decided to try to speak to the ghost in the house. They asked about his death, and before my brother could go on, I told him about my dream. He died in the back garden and was murdered by his brothers. My brother confirmed that that's exactly what they had found out, but it wasn't in the back garden. It was in the nearby woods. We then researched our local area and discovered that actually the area wasn't built up until the 70s, and before that it was a few houses with a lot of woodlands. I still believe that the ghost was looking out for me to protect me from my bullies and keep me safe in the way no one did for him. I have never fallen down the steps in my parents' house, even when I would stand on the edge. And even stranger, the dog we had in my childhood, who was very protective of me, always stayed at the top of the stairs when I wasn't home.